Fan Forum podcast is presented by Interstate 70 Sports Media Group. I-70 strives to bring you the best sports coverage in the tri-state area. Find them on Facebook or at interstate70sports.media.
This is Jordan Bennington, and you're listening to the Blues Fan Forum podcast.
On the ice, under St. Louis city lights, where the Blues play with all their might. Jordan Cairo, fast on the attack, but defense falters, gotta cut him some slack. In Robert's arms we find our glory, his skills shine, the team's best story. St. Louis Blues, we wear the crest. In Jordan Bennington we put our trust to the test. On the ice we fight and we must, for the city we love, in the blue no we'll thrust.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to episode 148 of the Blues Fan Forum podcast, your source for Blues news, views, and fan interviews. Presented by Scooters Coffee. Blues fans can score amazing drinks like the signature Caramelicious, served hot, iced, or blended with world-class espresso, fruit smoothies, Scoot energy infusions, and so much more. That is amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Scooters Coffee. We have a lot to talk about today. We're probably going to start off mediocre, maybe go real hot into the, halfway through and then just cool down and shit the bed right at the end, which is in Blues fashion how we will do this episode. Starting off today, we do have Dakota with us. What's up, Dakota?
What's going on? I think that was a great description of how I think this podcast is going to go. I'm still kind of trying to figure out and trying to screw my head on from last night, but we'll get into that for sure.
I think we're all on that page. And then special guest for episode 148 is Rodger Scott. How are you, Rodger?
How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us, Rodger. I do like your little name you got on here of Rodger's Dodger. I like that. All right.
That's my nickname.
All right, cool. Well, we'll go with Rodger Dodger then. All right. Couple of just housekeeping items for the Blues Fan Forum podcast. We are excited to announce that we have finally been able to schedule a St. Louis Blues watch party. I've been on the fence of whether I even want to schedule one of these or not, because I'm honestly worried if anyone's going to show up, if anybody even cares to go out and watch a Blues game in public. But we're going to try one because we're going to have awesome giveaways and we're at least going to have a good time drinking beer. So with that said, Thursday, March 12th, mark your calendars. The Blues play against Carolina at 6 p.m. We will be at Friday's South Bar in Collinsville, Illinois. It's a bar, so it's open whenever you want. I will most likely be there 5 o'clock with the game starting at 6. As always, we'll have giveaways, we'll have raffle items, we'll have intermission trivia, probably do our little heads and tails game. I can tell you every single watch party we do, whether it has been at Timeout in Troy, Chicken and Pickle, The Pitch, wherever we've been, it has always been a good time. The Blues don't typically win a game, but we drink a lot of alcohol and we have fun and we give away jerseys and tickets and whatever other random stuff I can find on Facebook Marketplace. So again, that is March 12th. The game starts at 6 p.m. We'll be there at 5 at Friday's South in Collinsville, Illinois. So come hang out with us on March 12th. All right. Let's get into this. Before we go to the doom and gloom, we're going to start with the happiness and the excitement. And the cool thing about our guest this week, Rodger, is Rodger's about an hour south, or an hour, would you say, east?
An hour east of Toronto.
Hour east of Toronto. So our friend who is an hour south of Toronto, Mike, was able to kind of connect us and get you on. But just looking at your screen, Rodger, you are absolutely loaded in Blues gear between your hoodie, your jerseys, looks like some wall paintings. So kind of go through your fandom and your clear diehardness for the St. Louis Blues.
Sure. Okay. So first, I'll give a shout out to my good buddy who lives in downtown St. Louis, Matt Gould. I met him through Facebook about 15 years ago. So he's my Blues buddy and a
Awesome.
good friend of mine who lives downtown. But he knows my story. So going back, I would have been about 10. So this is 1980. My mom and dad bought me my first dog. So we're on our way home from the breeders, and I was talking to them, and I asked where she came from, and they said, "Well, I think she's from St. Louis. I think her parents are her mom and dad." So that weekend, the Blues were playing the Leafs on TV. So, like a young kid, I wanted to cheer for where my dog came from. So that's how I started becoming a Blues fan.
That's
Was way
crazy.
back.
from a dog to
From the
everything.
dog.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's pretty sick.
So that's how I started. So back then there was no satellite that we had. I couldn't watch many Blues games, but they used to send out this newsletter that I found out. It was called the Blue Liners Club. So I joined that, and I got the letter, and I found out what station the Blues games were on. So I started trying to listen to the games at home, but I couldn't. But I went into the car, my mom and dad's car, in the driveway, turned on 1120 KMOX, and I listened to the Blues games. So I'd be sitting, 12, 13, 14 years old in the middle of the night, listening to the Blues games outside in the driveway, because I could pick it up at night.
Wow, that's so cool.
So and my first Blues game ever was they played in Toronto, and I don't remember all the goal scorers, but I remember they won 5-4. And a couple of the names that you'll remember scored goals was Gaston Gingras. I don't know if you remember him playing for the Blues, and Charlie Bourgeois.
Okay, Charlie Bourgeois, yep.
The second one, yeah.
Yeah. Gaston Gingras, you don't remember?
No.
he was, yeah, you're probably too young, but
Yes.
he played for Montreal, and then somehow he ended up in St. Louis. But that was my first game that I saw. And I've been to St. Louis 23 times. So I was there just recently in November. So I know St. Louis like the back of my hand now.
Mm-hmm. And is every time you come to St. Louis specifically to catch a Blues game?
Not really. No, I've come to St. Louis a lot in the summer for the 4th of July thing that they have down at the Arch, the St. Louis Fair. So I've seen a few concerts there. And one of the biggest Blues games I'll never forget, aside from the Stanley Cup one, was they were playing in Toronto. It was November 29th, 2000. They were losing 5-0 halfway through the third period, and that's when they came back and won that game. So I was at that game
in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was like 15. I was just under 15 minutes. They tied it up and then went into overtime, and Jochen Hesch scored the winning goal.
No shit.
That's awesome.
And that was and funny enough, it was Curtis Joseph that was in that.
We love that. Love Cujo.
So that's a game that you guys probably remember. And then the fast forward a bunch of years to the Stanley Cup. I came down for the games 3 and 4 against the Sharks. They didn't win game 3, of course, because of that hand pass.
Mm-hmm.
Then they won game 4. I stayed back and watched game 5 when they went to San Jose and won that one. I think it was 5-0 when Tarasenko got the penalty shot. And I think he made that 3-0. Mm-hmm. Then I drove home after that game, and then 2 weeks later they won the cup. So I came down for the parade.
Hell yeah! Hey, people forget how influential that San Jose game was, because I really do believe it unleashed a different demon inside that Blues hockey organization. That hand pass was the worst thing that San Jose could have they stood in front of. Yeah, that changed the demeanor of the team, and that changed the course of probably Blues history from here on out. So that's an incredible story.
Yeah, cool. And they had so many injuries, San Jose. So once we tied it up, I kind of knew that we were going to win the series.
Yeah.
So, and I've got tattoos on my arm, but I can't take my shirt off now. But I do have some tattoos from the Stanley Cup when they won it. I came down for the parade and got a tattoo right away.
We love that. We love that.
So,
I got mine right here. So
nice.
we love
I don't have any. I just have a podcast. That's
Yeah.
good stuff. Man, oh man, that's good stuff.
But yeah, I could tell so many stories. Games that they won in Montreal. They beat them 10-1. They beat Ottawa something like 11-1. So I've been at those games. I follow them around all around my area. So Detroit, Buffalo, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal.
So when you were 10 and got the dog and picked up being a Blues fan, were you already a hockey fan at that point?
No, not really. Well, maybe a little bit. I was just getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and dad they were from Scotland. They weren't big hockey fans. They were more soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wasn't into soccer. And I started watching hockey somewhat. And my first hockey game ever was Toronto and Chicago, and I kind of liked it then, but I just wasn't a Toronto fan at that time. I was just learning the game, and then I loved hearing about the Blues. And when I saw the jersey and Bernie Fedorko and Brian Sutter and Mike Liut, when I saw the jerseys, I thought, I love this. These are awesome.
And what a great time to be a Blues fan too, or just a hockey fan in general, because that era of hockey, just I feel like is one cemented in history for good reason, but like just the era of hockey that you got to grow up around and witness, and obviously started your fandom. But geez, you got to witness some really good goaltenders, really good players. I mean, geez, Louise.
Like Vinny Rayandu, you probably remember him.
Wow. All right. One more question for you, Rodger. Did you ever get made fun of for being a Blues fan and not a Maple Leafs fan?
No. I think I would have if I was a Montreal or Boston fan. But everybody was kind of like, St. Louis, really?
Yeah, more confused than hate.
Yeah, they were like, that's really cool. I've had jerseys. My first jersey I've got is a Doug Gilmour one, number 9. So, and
yes,
I can't wear that anymore. It's a little small for me, but
yeah.
Just getting jerseys all through the years, and every year they change it. I buy a new one, get a new name on it, then they get graded.
Yeah, I guess if you're talking about hockey, you're saying that you like hockey, and then you're bringing your dog into the story. It's hard for anybody to get mad about that.
No. Yeah, you're right. You're right. If I tell people that I meet in St. Louis when I come down, they hear my accent. They say, "You're not from here." I say, "Yeah, I'm from." I just say Toronto. They say, "You're a Blues fan," and they see my tattoo, and I go, "Yeah." And then they ask how am I a Blues fan living in Toronto? Why am I not a Leafs fan?
Right.
And I kind of touch on the story a little bit.
Yeah, but I would say like Toronto fans are just ruthless. I mean, St. Louis fans are a little nicer, right? Like at least you're part of a fan group that we expect to lose, but we're hopeful when we win. Like
yeah.
Toronto, they just think that.
Which is funny that you say that Toronto fans are ruthless and Blues are nice, because when you're talking about the countries, it's the opposite. Canadians are nice, and the Americans are the problem.
Yeah.
So just as long as you're not talking to a Canadian about hockey, that's when they became ruthless.
Yeah, but then you look at when the Blues won the Cup, how many of them were Canadians, right? I think we had 17 Canadians.
Oh yeah, I think most of our team.
Yeah.
Yeah, like who would not be a Canadian? Tarasenko. Is Jake Allen Canadian, or is he American?
He's Canadian.
Okay,
yeah, he's from the East Coast.
Yeah, him and Bennington, Pietrangelo, Steen would have been Swedish.
Steen he's Swedish, so I guess.
Yeah.
He was
but
born
I
here.
did. Yeah, I think most of the team would have been Canadian.
Yeah.
So.
Fuck.
All right.
Yeah.
We do have some friends of ours hanging out, and it seems like maybe they're already in that third period. We hate ourselves right now. Sam's here. She's having a rough day.
Okay.
Justin commented and said, "This team makes me sad." But Kelsey's happy to be here. So so we got some happiness. Kelsey also says it's not that hard to be a Leafs fan if you've been there a while, which makes sense. She's, I guess, is from Guelph. I know. Is that where the Guelph Storm is? I've heard of that team.
Yeah.
Okay.
My daughter went to university there.
Gotcha. Okay. So maybe that's where Kelsey went to university. Who knows? I'm sure she'll tell us. All right. Let's dive into some of these recent games that the Blues have played. And unfortunately, the last game since our last episode we have to start with is on Tuesday, January 27th, when the Blues played at home against the Dallas Stars in what ended up being a 3-4 loss. We were talking before we started recording about Jason Robertson scoring that goal in the last minute or however much time was left, and how we lost that game after being up. I think we were up 3-2. Maybe we're up 1 or up 2. We're up 4-2. We lost 5-4 in that one, maybe.
It was 4-3. I thought it was 4-3.
Was it 4-3? Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, there wasn't much time left, and we were winning, and then we somehow lost the game. Not even in overtime. Like, would have liked to at least steal a point. And that's kind of where this game was going. Except at this point, it was the opposite, where we were losing. Braden Shen gets 2 goals in the third period pretty quickly. And then looks like we're probably going to go into overtime, and Dallas does what Dallas does best, or maybe what the Blues do best, of just giving up last-minute goals and let Harley score with 1 minute and 7 seconds left. And so we lose. Rodger, what were your thoughts on, this Dallas game compared to the previous Dallas game where Jason Robertson scored?
Exactly the same thing. I mean, you could see it coming. I think there was about 3 minutes left in the game when Harley scored that goal. And again, we touched on it before we went live, was these faceoffs that they're not winning in the defensive zone. These are the most important faceoffs. And if you're not winning them, you're giving up these late goals. And they don't seem to win these faceoffs. And even in the offensive zone, if they're trying to tie it up, they're still losing them. So that's one thing that I think has got to change with this team. Thomas, even though he's winning some of them, his percentage is still roughly, I think, 45, 48%. Suter, they'll throw him in there. Same thing. They just don't have that big name to win these faceoffs, and I think that's where they're falling apart.
I've seen a lot of people online complaining about the icings too that are leading to having to win those faceoffs.
As well.
Yeah, bad timing of icings. We're just not connecting passes, and then it leads to an icing, and then we can't win the faceoff, and then we lose.
Yeah, Tucker had a couple of those as well, and I think Parayko did as well.
Yep. So, that was the Dallas game. Next game we have is actually happiness. We can talk about some happiness here. Thursday, January 29th, the Blues played against 2-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. We ended up with a 5-4 win. Neighbors, Kyrou, Bergeron, Sundqvist, and Snuggerud all score goals. 5 goals for 5 different players and a 5-4 win. Robert, when you've seen the Blues win and in high-scoring games against really, really good teams, do you get excited, or are you a type of person that can still stay level-headed?
I'm pretty level-headed about that.
Okay.
Just by the way the season's been going, I don't expect this to be a turning point. I don't think, okay, this is it. This is where we're going to go. We're going to finally turn the corner and start winning games like this. And I don't see it. I see more of the other team not playing as well, or than us playing better than them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, to follow up with that, I'm going to completely skip us on Saturday, the 31st, playing Columbus, because we lost 5-3, and it's Columbus, and we shouldn't have lost that game, but we did anyway, and go straight to yesterday's game. Because did you get even a little excited when it was 5-1 and the Blues were just dominating Nashville?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I didn't get a chance to see the start of the game because I was out, but I was still getting updates on my phone. And when I saw or heard beep, 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 it's like, what the heck's going on? And I saw they were winning 4-1, then 5-1. I'm thinking, what's going on? So then I get home and start watching it, and then that's when they started falling apart. And I'm thinking, what happened between maybe was it 5 minutes left in the third, or sorry, the second, when they gave up those two late goals, and then the goals in the third period. So
With 7 minutes and 20, I guess it would have been 26 seconds left in the second period, we would have been winning 5-1.
yeah,
At 7:25 is when they scored to make it 5-2, and then it all went downhill from there.
right.
So, Dakota, were you going to blame Rodger for turning it on, and it's his fault we lost? Because
I mean, as soon as he said, I came home, turned it on, I was like, what are we doing? Just go back out. At that point, we had so much time between them and the end of the game that you could have turned the script around, but like, let's go. Like,
Yeah,
as far as that game is concerned, we all saw it on the Blues Fan Forum Facebook page. I mean, I did instinctively just like text Jacob and be like, I mean, is this it? Like, have we hit that peak of like, okay, we did suck, but now we don't. And maybe I was the cause of it too. Maybe I got a little too excited. I mean, who would have thought a 4-goal lead in the NHL wouldn't be enough to win the game? But hey, that's just the St. Louis Blues hockey. That's the MO. They took a page out of Tampa Bay's book. Nashville did, and came back from a 4-goal to win the game. 6-5, 6-4, whatever the hell it
well,
was.
the Blues have done it against Detroit this year as well.
I mean, there are no words. I stopped speaking English after that game because apparently nothing really helps. I mean, just getting pissed off is the only thing you can do at this moment. Like,
Yeah.
where are they? I mean, if I'm Jim Montgomery, I don't know how he's not popping blood vessels left and right after every missed opportunity or bullshit pass to the neutral zone, or Joel Hofer tries to think he's just God's gift to the planet when he comes like goaltending, like handling the puck behind net.
Yeah.
Like, the game just fell apart in every single area that the Blues, I felt like, were controlling for 25 minutes or 30 minutes. Like, they came out and just walked Nashville.
Yeah.
And then they did not have an answer after they scored the second goal.
And then you look at the games that they've played well this year. They've beaten Florida twice. They beat Tampa. They beat Carolina. They're beating these top teams, but they're not beating these mediocre to bottom feeding teams. And I think that's another issue with this that I'm finding with this team.
It's really crazy that this is a professional franchise with a very impressive history, but we have to talk about the fact that they're not playing with enough energy every night. But that's what's happening, is they are able to get themselves up for those big games against the Florida Panthers, against Carolina, even the Dallas game. Like, that still was a good game, and we gave up a goal with 1 minute left. But they're able to get themselves up from that. And then they come up and play Nashville, and they get themselves up a little bit, and then they put it on cruise control and get blown by.
Well,
and it was kind of ironic. Yeah, it was kind of ironic because they did show the statistic, and usually the Blues fare well against, like when they have the dad's trip or like the mentor trip is what they call it. So I was like, all right, we were 8-2-1 going into this. Now we're 8-3-1. I was like, damn, right? Like, something's got to give. The dads are in the building. You got whatever energy you had, maxed that by 10% more because your dads are in there. You want to show out and show up.
Yeah.
Again, you put a 4-goal lead on Nashville. You're like, okay, this is usually what UC Saros does. I know that because he's on my fantasy hockey league. I'm like, all right, well, he's let up a couple. That's par for the course. We've got to him early. They changed the goaltender, and it's like it's a whole new game. So
I got to pull up. Brad is commenting, and he's getting mad at us. First off, he was commenting some stuff and I was reading it and laughing at it, but I hadn't had time to pull it up yet. So he says Jacob wants to laugh at reading these, but he's trying to be professional. But I was like kind of giggling as he was watching it. But he says, this one got me. Roger, do you follow the St. Louis Blues hockey memes page?
Oh, I do.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Brad, the guy in charge, says, my parents were so pissed about the game last night that they forgot to lock the basement, and I snuck 3 of my dad's beers out of the fridge. And then I don't know, I guess Dakota maybe said a bad word. Because he goes, oh, he said a bad word. My mom's gonna make me turn this off. So
It's a kid's podcast.
Yeah, you guys are talking, and I'm just over here reading it. Kelsey did bring up a good point here. The Blues' second period point differential is worst in the league.
Yeah.
And I'll add to that. First off, I think our just overall point differential is worse in the league. But our second period is awful, which is why I think I got so excited against the Nashville game, because I was like, we're dominating the second period.
Yeah.
Until we weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think their goal differential might be like 28 goals, maybe 26 goals, something like that in the second period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, goals for, goal against. We are tied for the worst with Vancouver. So, par for the course.
I will say I got really confused. So Dakota had texted me about us dominating, and I was watching the game. So I was like, yes, we are dominating. And then it got to the point where Nashville had scored 2 and got in a little close, scored some more into the third period. And I got to the point where I'm like, I'm done watching this. Like, this is kind of dumb that this is happening, that we were up 5-1 and now it is 5-5. So I shut it off. And then my brother text me and Dakota, and it says, let's go, with a bunch of capital exclamation points. And so I was like, did we score? And I pulled it up, and of course we didn't. He was cheering that Dallas scored, or not Dallas, that Nashville scored, because he's on the train now. And I think a lot of St. Louis Blues fans are on this train as well, of we don't even want to win games anymore. At this point, we just want to lose and get a good draft pick. So if you can get us a competitive game of 5-6, even the Columbus game 5-3, Florida 5-4, Dallas 4-3, we're hitting the over. We're hitting the over on all these. So we're watching exciting hockey and we're losing. Yeah. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, because the better our players that we're trying to move, whoever that may be, and I think we're going to touch on that later, the better they play, the better chance we're going to get something of value back. Because if they're all playing bad, we're not going to get much for them, or anything at all.
I want to touch on you guys' perspective watching the game too. Is like, it seemed like a different team that came out for the second period. The first period, they were winning every board battle. They were on every back check. You could see that they were pickpocket. There was a couple pickpockets. There was a couple lift sticks. Every avenue the Blues took was either to intercept the puck or to have an odd man break. And it just seemed like that they developed so much chemistry in that first period. And then to start the second, we kind of had it, but immediately lost it. And it was just like there were 2 totally different teams playing 2 totally different ways. And I'm like, how do we just lose it mid-game? Like, it's not like rocket science. Like, you're just doing the same thing that you were in the first period, but like they couldn't have all the answers. They couldn't have drawn up one hell of a scheme in the intermission to stop you. So how do you play 2 different games in 2 different periods? Like, how is that even a thing?
I find that they're not adjusting to the style of play. If another team changes the way they're playing, like Nashville obviously realized that they weren't playing as well, so they changed. The Blues didn't adjust. They tried to stay the same. And when they weren't able to do that, and Nashville was able to capitalize on the mistakes that the Blues were making, then they end up losing. So I find that the Blues don't seem to adjust with any style of play with the way that the other teams are playing. If that makes sense.
And wouldn't that be a coaching issue?
I don't want to say that yet.
That's really the problem. We love Jim Montgomery.
Yeah.
But realistically, he hasn't done anything for us. He took us to the playoffs last year in his 3/4 of a season, but
Yeah.
he was the best coach in the NHL a couple years ago when he was with Boston, but Boston found a reason to get rid of him. So at some point, maybe it's not now, but at some point that conversation has to start coming up.
And I think the Leafs are probably going through the same thing with Berube. Like, is it the general manager's responsibility to bring the players in for the type of style that the coach wants? And that's why Toronto's not playing as well. You know, you look at the players they have on paper; they have great players on paper, but they're not Berube type players. Maybe it's the same thing with the Blues. Maybe we're not Montgomery type players.
Well, that's too like my question that's always been is like, okay, do you bring a coach that has a different playing style, or do you bring a coach in that can adapt and change the style that he's used to like coaching and adapt to the players that you have and kind of utilize what you have and change your style there. Like I feel like Jim Montgomery tends to be a very player forward coach. Like I feel like I don't know, I'm not in the locker room, but I think the guys that he has coached, people have really enjoyed being around. Like he doesn't seem like a Davis Payne or a who's the other one I'm trying to think of, but it doesn't seem like that coach. It's very my way or the highway. I feel like he's very adaptable, but it just doesn't seem like that kind of hockey's being played by the Blues, right? Like you hit the nail right on the head. The Blues just aren't adapting to the Blues or the other team counteracting what their play is. The Blues came out with heat in the first period. And in the second period, you could definitely tell that Nashville made their adjustments and St. Louis just wasn't ready for them.
Yeah.
Trying to get a word in, but my dogs aren't letting me. All right. Let's see. Sam's got kind of some news for us. What did I just do? I just turned my camera off somehow. I actually didn't even catch this, but the St. Louis Blues did place Samuel Johannesson on waivers. So he has not played any games for the Blues, but he was a draft pick of the Blues and was playing for Thunderbirds. But they have placed him on waivers to terminate his contract. I didn't really know anything about him, but I do remember that on my words are hard. At the beginning of the season, when you say something that's most likely not going to happen, but you try to predict something crazy, whatever that word's called. I tried to predict, bold prediction. That's what it is. Yeah. One of my bold predictions last year was that Samuel Johansson would play some games for the Blues because he was like the only right-handed defenseman we had in the minors. And I was like, at some point, Parayko and Falk would be hurt. So we would be rocking like Matt Kessel and Samuel Johansson would have to come out. So that's the only really thing I know about him. I'm going to tell you guys about places where you guys can buy some stuff because it's super exciting. And then we're going to get into our Teach Me How to Doug section. So if I'm going to use this, if the vibes are off, as Kelsey says, then you probably need some Scooters coffee because they'll bring the vibes back up. So go get some Scooters coffee. Specifically, if you can, go through the drive-thrus on Highway 143 and Troxler Way in Highland, or Vandalia Street and Indiana Avenue in Collinsville, or any of the other 30 locations in the greater St. Louis area if you cannot make the one in Highland or Collinsville. And that is amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast Scooters coffee. The next one is Hughes Custom Design. They're a family-owned and run small business that is operated out of Maryville, Illinois. They specialize in laser-cut, hand-painted signs. They have options that are typically ready upon request, which are most Blue Notes or Blues-related things. But they can also complete requests for custom jobs. So if you have your own youth sports team or whatever it may be, the Guelph Storm, if you want to get a Guelph Storm logo, they can hook that out for you. Dakota, do you have your sign down there somewhere?
I have 3. I have a Chiefs, a Cardinals, and a Blues.
All from Hughes Custom Design?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that. Cool. All right. I got to get more. I got to get some from him. I will have Hughes custom design related something at the watch party on March 12th. So we'll have a giveaway for that. And then the last one is Imprint Labs. They specialize in bringing your brand to life with custom laser engraved Richardson hats and vibrant custom sublimated metal prints. Whether you want to make a statement with high quality headgear or showcase your designs on eye catching metal art, they deliver precision, durability, and style every time. Elevate your brand with Imprint Lab, where your vision meets our craftsmanship. My sign is right there on the floor, so I can't grab it. Otherwise, I would show you it. But I've shown every week metal signs, hats. Dakota's got his hat on. It's just, if you need something, if you have a design of something and you want it on something else, reach out to Imprint Labs and they'll put it on a hat, t-shirt, metal print, mouse pad, can koozies, whatever they have, they'll get it. All right. We're going to go into our Teach Me How to Doug section. Rodger, have you listened to an episode before?
I've kind of watched a few of them, not full episodes. I kind of just caught up on it to see what it's like.
Okay. Well, we'll get into the Teach Me How to Doug section. In the Teach Me How to Doug section, you get to act like you are Doug Armstrong. And then you can either go with what you think he will do or what you would do in that situation. But we have some super cool intro music to play first. So I got to play our intro music for the Teach Me How to Doug section, if I can find it. Here it is. And then we'll listen to...
All right, you're in the chair now. Let's see if you got what it takes to run the Blues. Teach me how to Doug, teach me how to Doug. You're the GM now, make a trade, make a plug. Cap space tight, but the roster's got a bug. So show us what you got. Teach me how to Doug. Sign them, trade them, send them down to the A. Build a cup team like it's Judgment Day. You got picks, you got cash. Can you make a splash or crash? Better know your lines and match, because fans don't want to see a playoff collapse. Teach me how to...
All right, and it would keep going, but that's good enough for us. I need to get a video with that so we're not just sitting here staring at the screen for a whole minute. All right. Teach me how to Doug for Rodger. Your question is, with everything going on in the St. Louis Blues and how bad we're playing, trade rumors are crazy, nuts. So it's kind of a two-part question here. First part is, for you, who absolutely needs to be traded, either right now at the trade deadline or maybe before next season starts? And then two, is there anyone on the team that you say is untouchable? This person has to be on this team next year. So take her away.
Honestly, I think Shen his time is done. I don't see him as a true captain. I don't see him getting up in front of the bench, standing in front of the players and yelling and screaming at them. He seems too passive. So I think he's done, sadly, because I love Shenner, but I think he's one that I think is eventually going to go. I think Kyrou just doesn't seem to have the desire to play for this team. I think he's worn out his welcome. I don't see the effort that he should be putting in for the type of money that he's making. So I think he's one that should go. And then you look at guys like Joseph. I think Joseph might go. I can see Falk getting traded before the deadline. Those are guys. Bennington maybe, depends on how he does in the Olympics. If he lights it up in the Olympics and wins Canada a gold medal, I could see him going. Guys that I don't want moved. I mean, Dvorsky for sure. I think Dvorsky is going to be the future, and Broberg, Snuggerud, those guys, Jake Neighbors. I don't know about Thomas yet. He's the injuries just they scare me, but you're trading away a centerman, and you got to replace a centerman. And who would you be your top centerman if you lose him? You're going to have like Suits as your top centerman. So I don't think he's going to go anywhere. And Holloway, I haven't seen a full season with him yet. I don't know what to think of him. He's had 3 injuries. He's off again, so I don't know what to think of him. So he's going into a free agency again. So are they going to re-sign him before July 1st, or are they going to let him, test the waters and go for a restricted free agency? So those are my guys.
All right. Dakota, did you have anyone else you wanted to touch on? I know you were excited about the Shen one.
I mean, I've been saying this, and it's not just because I hate Shen with everything I have. It's just like I think that his time has come and gone, and I do think he was really good for us. I mean, hell, he contributed to much of our success through the last couple of years, and was he ready to be captain? I don't know, but he was the best guy we had when that position opened. So I would hate to see him go. I think at this point we just got to see what everybody's worth. At this point, in my understanding of the Blues, nobody is untouchable. I would leave guys like Snuggie and Dvorsky, and I think Devo and Snuggie are going to find their way to the top 6 and stay on the top 6. We're going to build a team around them, and I've been saying this from the very beginning. We got to utilize our depth where we can, and I think the guys on my list that have to go at the deadline are probably going to be Kyrou, Falk, Benner, Shen. Do I want to see Thomas go? No, but if I'm hearing what I'm hearing is correct and they're keeping him out because he's not necessarily that hurt, but let's try to sell a guy while he's not injured, then I guess explore that avenue. It would just suck to kind of lose a guy like Thomas. I think he needs other playmakers around him, and I think he's been plagued with injuries down the road that have eluded him from getting that 100-point threshold, which we've all talked about the last couple seasons. He's been close, but he hasn't been that close. So I would hate to see that happen, but I think that's kind of where it's going. And like I've been joking with my buddies, I said I really hope this fall of the Blues does not last as long as it did for LA and Chicago.
Yeah.
So I don't think it will. The Blues have always been competitive. Like I've mentioned previous podcasts, we're always in it. I just don't want. Maybe this is going to be the year that we're just really far away from it. But hey, we were predicting that to be last year, and look what happened. So we shall see what the trade deadline brings, and we shall see what everybody does for their respected countries. I would love to see Benner come back with a better head on his shoulders, and maybe he leads the team to the promised land. But that's wishful thinking. But I would rather see the Blues go in the right direction under Alexander Steen, and I really hope he plays a huge part in this trade deadline because he's going to be the one responsible for the team after this calendar year.
I would like to see them pick up a guy, not necessarily who I'm going to mention, but someone of that magnitude is a guy like Tom Wilson. I think that's the kind of guy that the Blues are missing, is that kind of guy that can take the team on his shoulders and start hitting everything that he can. And even if he gets into a fight and takes a bad penalty, they're going to follow his lead. And I think that's the kind of guy that they're missing because there's nobody on that team that can do what he does.
Yeah, it's our best bet is Nathan Walker, who tries to, but he's just not as big.
No.
It doesn't score as nearly as many goals.
No.
So, yeah, we need a bigger power forward. And honestly, if anyone was going to that's supposed to be Shen's role.
Yeah.
And he does it okay-ish, but I'd love to see Neighbors pick that up more.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see him be the guy that is just going to run into people. And I mean, he does a good job of being in front of the net and scoring goals that way, but maybe your whole identity on the team isn't necessarily to score 30 goals. It is to run people over, open the ice up, and you can still get your 20 goals. And then, Kyrou has more space, or Thomas has more space, or Snuggerud, or Dvorsky, or Stenberg, whoever it is. Yeah, that was kind of the basic one for me. Like you guys said, Joseph, I think I feel like there is no way that Joseph is still on this team by the trade deadline. There's no reason to keep him on the team. He's got 1 year left on the contract. Somebody is going to want him for something. He has to go somewhere. The rest of the guys are a little bit harder because they all have multiple years on their contracts and they have some sort of no trade protection. Yeah. Kairu's is complete no trade, where Falk and Shen are at 15 team no
Right.
trade. So they do
And they're
have,
going into their last year, I think. I think Falk 1 year, I think Shen 2, if I'm not mistaken.
like after this year.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. So a lot of times when teams are trying to trade for these players to make like a playoff push, they're looking for a 1 year contract. They're not looking for that 2 to 3 years. But Falk and Shen are definitely, even Joseph, are the type of players that can help a playoff push team. It just depends on the price. So that will be interesting. Either way, if the goal for this St. Louis Blues team is now not to make the playoffs and just get the best pick we can, people got to go, because Calgary has already started their sell-off. Vancouver has already started their sell-off, and they're just going to get worse. I would not be surprised to see teams like Chicago or any other of these teams that are at the bottom to start trading away players and get worse on paper, which means
the Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers with Panarin going, and they'll probably trade more people, I would imagine. I think Zibanejad has been talked about. So they'll get worse, which means they'll lose more games and eventually drop closer to the number one overall pick than us. So it's kind of a race to see who can get the worst, the best. if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's hard to watch the games when you want them to win, but you also want them to lose.
Right.
It's so hard when you've been a fan for so many years and you don't want them, you don't want to see them lose, but for their future, you almost have to.
Right. Yeah, because at this point, barring a 20-game win streak, you would probably need at this point. You can kiss the playoffs goodbye, and if you're not going to make the playoffs, there's no point in trying, which is tanking. I mean, you have to.
Yeah, and if you do sneak in, guess who you're getting first round? You're getting Colorado.
Yeah. Luckily, Nathan McKinnon will be injured at the Olympics, so we won't have to worry about that. All right. Speaking of the Olympics, we do have one game. That game is tomorrow for the St. Louis Blues, and then it will be officially Olympic break. We do have 5 players from the St. Louis Blues that will be participating in the Olympics. 2 of them for Team Canada. I think these are the ones that people know the most: Colton Parayko and Jordan Binnington. I wanted to get your thoughts, Roger. Where do you think Parayko fits in on the lineup?
I could see him. He's going to be the third pairing. I could see him playing with a Harley. I don't think he's going to be up with your Doughty or your Morrissey. They're like, Morrissey's a fast skater, so you're going to see him in the top pairing.
Mm-hmm.
You might not even see Parayko in the top 3 pairings. He might be one of those ones, like you mentioned, like a healthy scratch, or he might be that extra defenseman if they need him. I don't see him, how he fits in with this Team Canada. Maybe 4 years ago he might have, but I think with his age and the way he's been playing this year and his attitude, I just don't see him fitting in as well as he should. And Binnington, you know what he's like. I mean, with the 4 Nations, he ended up winning it, so he gets himself up with the big games. So no matter what, he's probably the guy that you want to play for Canada to win the gold medal.
So game 1 for Canada, out of whoever they play, it will be an easy game. I mean, if you look at the group stages, they're pretty simple. Canada has an easy group. The United States has an easy group. And then the third group includes Finland and Sweden. So might be a little bit harder there. You're starting Jordan Binnington game 1 for Team Canada?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I did look up just what Daily Faceoff thought. They had Parayko listed as that fit or that let's see, that 7th D man. And pretty much
Right.
said he's going to be a penalty kill specialist.
Okay.
Of anytime you need either a defensive stop for some reason or you're on the penalty kill, that's when he goes on the ice. Otherwise, you're rolling the 3D pairs. And we might have talked about it off camera, but in case we did, the Olympics has a weird rule where you're allowed 2 more skaters on the bench than you normally are for the NHL. So the NHL, you have your 4 lines of forwards and your 3 lines of defensemen. The Olympics, you can have those 4 lines of forwards, those 3 lines of defensemen, and 2 extra players. So they have been, or Parayko slotted in as that one of those extra defensemen, and said, again, primarily penalty kill. And so, yeah. And they did have Binnington in the starters net. So again, I watch a lot of fantasy football stuff and related to dynasty fantasy football. And a lot of the things when they're trying to anticipate players being good fantasy, they look at where they were drafted and they're like, listen, we're just people on the internet that thinks that they know what they're talking about. We don't. There are professional scouts and professional coaches out there that decide that this guy is a 1st round pick. And if they're going to say he's a 1st round pick, then he's probably going to be good in fantasy football. And that's kind of the thought I have with Parayko and Binnington is there are people who are professional scouts and significantly better coaches and everything hockey related than anything probably any of us 3 combined could even come up with. And if they think Parayko and Jordan Binnington are a caliber enough to play for Team Canada, then they have to be pretty good hockey players, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So, our other skaters we have is Philip Broberg. He'll be playing for Team Sweden. Where do you think Broberg fits in? I don't even know who the other defensemen are for. I guess that would be an important fact. Daily Faceoff had him actually written down as their 7th defenseman as well. Kind of that not healthy scratched, but not written in as one of the starters in that first 3 lines. We also have Pia Suter. He is back and looks healthy, looked fine. And is he playing for Denmark?
No, that's Switzerland, I think.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay. So Suter is Switzerland, and I could not find, nobody had any projected lines when it came to Switzerland. And then same with Dvorsky and Slovakia. I could not find any projected lines. I would imagine Slovakia doesn't have a full roster of NHL players, so I would imagine that Dvorsky is probably going to be playing. Suter probably the same way with Switzerland. So I think it's going to be interesting to see Suter and Dvorsky just get to play, see what they can do, but their teams really don't have a whole lot of hope. And then it'll be interesting with Canada and Sweden, what can happen with those 2 teams. So we did have Sam's rooting for Slovakia. She's probably rooting for Dvorsky. Kelsey asked if we were going to continue shows through the Olympics, and yes, we'll be on the same schedule, either Mondays or Tuesdays recording, and Wednesday being released on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple. So we still have episodes coming. We'll be talking a little St. Louis Blues, but trying to focus on the Olympics. So yeah, that's about it. So the St. Louis Blues are 5-9-1 in 2026. 5 wins, 9 losses, 1 overtime loss, which is not a good record, which is kind of what we've been talking about for the last hour. So, Rodger, what's your post? Actually, let's go back to the Olympics. Let's stick with this. You're obviously rooting for Canada, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. Is second place just a epic fail in Canada for Team Canada?
No, I don't think so. I think with the team that we've got, I think silver is actually would be pretty good. I don't see them getting gold with, and I don't want to say like, even though he said Bennington's, he gets up for the big games and stuff. Logan Thompson, I don't know what his health status is. I don't know how he is. I don't know about Darcy Kemper. I think their goaltending is probably going to be their weakest, and that could be their setback, which could drop them back to a silver.
Is Hellebuck back and healthy for the United States?
For US, I think so.
Okay.
I think he played the other day, so I'm pretty sure he's healthy.
Okay, so he should be good. But besides that, I think they have Jake Ottinger.
I think
right,
Jake
Dakota?
Ottinger gets the nod. I think he's going to end up getting the starting role.
Over Hellebuck?
I believe so. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the Four Nations. How Ottinger was the odd man out. I think did he end up playing one game? I thought he played one game, but I could be wrong. But I think he was the odd man out at the Four Nations. I do think he gets the nod this go around, but I don't know. I think it's a toss up. If you get classic JB versus Jake the Snake, Hellebuck's not a big game goaltender.
Oh no,
if last playoffs had anything to do with it, you could throw beach balls at that net. But
yeah,
I don't know. I really do think that USA is going to run one back. I mean, why not? But
yeah,
I'm rooting for Team Canada.
I think I'm just rooting for good hockey.
Yeah. Now, who's Colorado's goalie? Is that Blackwood?
Yes.
Yeah, they have Blackwood and
Wedgwood.
Is it Wedgwood? Are they both
I think
Woods?
it's
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if Blackwood. He's had an amazing season, but I don't know if he's even going to play for any of the teams. I don't know if he's Canadian or American.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right now the goaltenders Hellebuck, Ottinger, and Jeremy Swayman.
Jeremy Swayman. Okay.
There were some interesting picks for some of the teams, like seeing Evan Bouchard from Edmonton put. I believe he would be on Team Canada. I think he's Canadian, but like that is one that's like, all right, you took Colton Parayko. Why would you not take Bouchard instead? But I mean, I think part of it is just the more team building aspect of Bouchard is more of a two-way, if not offensive defenseman, and you bring in Parayko not for his offense, you bring him in for his defense. So,
and
just
I'm
that
assuming
team building aspect.
You saw that Bennett is in and Sorelli's out, correct?
Yes. Yep. Sorelli got injured, so
that's right. Yeah.
Sam Bennett has been called up to the big leagues, which is great as far as like grit and everything. But the fact that the Olympics won't let people fight, that's just, I don't like that. I don't know. I mean, we can't, if we can't start the game, the US-Canada game with 3 fights, then what are we even doing?
Just like in the Four Nations, right? Yeah.
So
I if Dougie Armstrong wasn't the general manager, I don't think Parayko would be there. Bennington maybe, but I don't think Parayko would have been.
Well, and that seems that like, I mean, he's obviously the general manager, but like the assistant general manager is, I don't know who. I'm going to guess another general manager of a NHL franchise. But all of the coaching staff are head coaches. Like John Cooper from Tampa Bay is the head coach. But isn't like, is it Tortorella? Is he one?
John Tortorella?
Is he one?
No,
I don't know. Who's your assistant coach? Someone with name. Canada assistant death costs. Nope, that's not what I want. Coach men's hockey. Oh, Rick Tocchet is the guy I was thinking of. But it's Bruce Cassidy, Pete DeBoer, and Rick Tocchet are the 3 assistant coaches. So
that's a pretty good list right there.
That's a pretty solid list. And, throw John Cooper on top of that. And so I would imagine they have quite a bit of say on who gets put on the team and who doesn't. So, I mean, Army obviously has the final say, so he can say, all right, well, if we're a toss up between Parayko and Evan Bouchard, then I'm going Parayko.
Yeah.
Or so
You were naming USA's assistant coaches. John
That's
Tortorella
USA?
is on there, David Quinn, and John Hines.
Right.
Torts is on USA.
Oh, on USA. Okay. So I'm not
Yeah.
completely stupid, just a little bit. Just a little stupid.
But what's Torts doing now? He's not even coaching anywhere.
I thought he's on TNT.
Okay.
Is he?
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, once you play, or once you're in the NHL, I believe you go to broadcasting. I would hate to see him be a part of any other NHL franchise. That dude's a clown. Absolute clown show.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Berube? How did he get that gash on his forehead?
Oh, I was gonna make that joke earlier when we were talking about it. I was like, "Yeah, we got Jim Montgomery that can't get wins, and you guys have Berube getting into bar fights when they're actually bar bell fights."
Yeah.
do I have a drum kick beat sound on here? Because I
Yeah.
think I deserve one.
That was
Oh,
good. That
I
was
don't.
good.
I have feeding the ducks. Oh wait, sounds. Drum roll. No, that's not what I want.
That's not.
Yeah, that scar on top of his head is nasty. That is,
It's-
I don't know, and it's a weight fell on his head, right? That's what they're going with.
yeah. It sounds like he dropped a barbell on his head, but barbells are straight. They don't bend like that.
Right.
Right.
So
I mean, I
like
don't
he
know.
also got a black eye, so I think he hit his nose. I wonder if it was a plate that fell on like the round part on his forehead, and then the middle of the plate hit his nose, which caused his black eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nasty, and with that haircut, like I think it looks worse. Like
Oh, it
you
does.
should see the other guy.
shave your head, chief. Like just let it all go.
Yeah,
It's just like open at the top, and then
yeah.
you just see that scar. Yeah, it is
It's not a
kinda
mullet; it's a
interesting.
gullet.
Right, or like wear a hat. Like
Yeah.
well maybe he can't. Maybe the stitches don't allow him to wear a hat. I don't know. But yeah, like dude, you're on TV. So, all right, Roger, we're about right at just over the hour mark. It's typically about the time that we kind of want to do. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about or discuss before we get out of
Um,
here?
no, this was pretty awesome. I loved meeting you guys and telling my story. And there's not much people up here that I could talk to Blues hockey, except for my good friend downtown. So this is awesome. This is just what I've been looking for.
All right. Well, we're here every Monday and Tuesday, or Monday or Tuesday. You can
Yeah.
catch us in the comments. We'll pull up some comments. Yes, great meeting you, Mike. If you're listening, thanks for hooking this up. It was an awesome episode. This dog right here is not named after or from. Well, he's from St. Louis, I think. Actually, I actually don't know, but that's Wally. I was already a Blues fan before I got Wally. All right. Make sure you guys go get your coffee at Scooters. Wally's excited because he knows we're about to hop off the air, and that means he gets to go to the O word. Go get your Scooters. Check out Hughes Custom Design and Imprint Labs. Make sure you come or mark down on your calendar March 12th at Fridays South in Collinsville, Illinois for our watch party against Blues play Carolina. So we'll have some fun, drink some beer, and eat some good food. I guess that's it. Roger, give me a big let's go Blues, and we'll get out of here.
Let's go Blues.
All right. See you, everybody. All right, Roger, don't leave just yet.
All right.